Hello, it's Melinda from Alexis and Melinda's Art Space. What you looking at in front of me? Well, Miss Alexis decided to do a challenge last weekend, and I haven't actually got to mine yet. Quite a while ago there was this challenge going around. I think it was called Ali's Slim Pickings, where she got her husband to pick 5 items and she had to use it. So Alexis and I decided, because we're doing a full art journal page and working on bigger journals, we would pick 10. So she picked 10 items for me to use. I'm going to be working in my altered lion journal that I've just decapitated. Okay, no, I haven't decapitated. I've cut in half because it was getting too big for the spine. So I love working in altered books, but seriously, I've got to remove more pages or stick less crap in them. So I've got to now find a new cover for this book, but it's going to be quite thick by the time I'm finished. So I'm going to do a double page spread. This equates to about an A4 size landscape wise. So what did Alexis pick for me? She picked me 10 items. So this counts as 1. So 2 rolls of washi tape. Both of these are from Kmart. There's a bronze one and a marble one. She picked me 2 die cuts. These were left over from Easter. Very shiny heart one and a handmade paper one. I could cheat and use the back if I didn't like the colours. Oh, is that cheating? Don't tell Alexis. She picked me some sequins. She picked this just after Easter, so these were just sitting on our table here. She picked me some embossing powder, her favourite. This is Pipe Dream. I don't know whether they're still in business. Pipe Dream that does embossing powders. I got this in Tasmania years and years ago. Wild Hibiscus, which is like a hot pink. Let's just decant it into that container. She picked me some sparkly borders. That's from Daiso. She picked me some crimson paint from Montmark Satin Paint. There's not much left in that one. She picked me one of the new sprays that I picked up the other day. I'm just having a look at the paint colour. Peach. So she's sort of got a pinky, reddy, sort of peachy colour. She picked me my... I'll flip over the lid. Much loved, but you can see the dentations in the wells. PBO watercolours. Some of the colours I love, so I'm going to try to challenge myself to use some of the colours. She said I could use any that aren't so dug in. Lex has been using these as well. So we'll see. And then she picked me 2 papers. So she picked me, these are 2 from an Audi paper stack. These are, I believe, were last year's. So the blue sort of scales, almost look like mermaid scales, and this greeny sort of squiggly one. So what am I going to come up with? I have no blooming idea. Child, I don't know. Let me go about it, think about it. I'll probably put you in fast forward and do something. Do something. Yes. Thinking a mermaid? Not sure. This sort of lends to a mermaid. I could use this as sparklies. I could use that as stuff on her stuff on her stuff. Oh my god. Yeah. So maybe a mermaidy thing. I don't know. Let's go and see what I can... Whoops, camera's shaking. Let's go and see what I can do. So a mermaid it's become. So I decided to do a mermaid. So I'm just showing you there my Jane Davenport face stamps. I'm getting better at drawing faces, but some days it's just quicker to stamp it on the page. So just stamping on using some waterproof ink. So working in my altered book, so I've got the text in the background, which I like sometimes and don't like other times. This time I decided to leave it there. So just sketching in a mermaid, very basic one, just sketching in the tail and the body. I wanted the effect to be as she's swimming through the water. That was my idea for this mermaid. I like doing mermaids, but sometimes they just don't work. This one's sort of cute. This one I'm 99% happy with. There's a bit I'm not happy with, but we'll get to that eventually. So because I wanted to watercolour and add some different mediums to the page, I give the page a coat of clear gesso because I'm working straight on a book page that hasn't previously been sealed. Sometimes the watercolours and stuff can make the paint brittle. Make the paper brittle. So clear gesso is basically white school glue, water, and a white powder, carbonate by carbonate something or other. If you Google homemade clear gesso on YouTube or internet, you'll find it. I can't remember. It's marble dust or carbonate something or other. It's white powdery stuff. That is the white powder dissolves in the school glue and leaves it a really matte finish, and it gives the page a bit of tooth. If I think of that word, I will tell you throughout the video. So next I decided to stick on the die cuts. I didn't like the colours, so I cheated and reversed them. Now Alexis didn't tell me I had to use them the right side around, did she? So Mummy cheated. Good one for Mummy. So I cut them all in half and stuck them on sort of rocks in the corner. So now just adding, I wanted some texture to my rock, so just adding some brown, different brown watercolours. Because because one of the die cuts was textured handmade paper, it gave a nice texture to the rocks as well. So just more blobbing the watercolours on. I did not want it to be a flat colour. So just finishing those up. So how's everyone been lately? Welcome to many new subscribers that we've had pop on the last couple of weeks, which is great. Hopefully my goal is to get to about 1,000 by the end of the year. We'll see if that works. So just using some of my PBO watercolours to colour in the face. The pencil sketch lines disappear after I've added all the inks and paints and that I end up adding, so I don't worry about erasing those. They're sort of there as a guide. So trying to use in my watercolour palette, as I explained in the intro, more of the colours that I don't use very often, so that I'm not left with all those in the palette once my favourite colours are used. I did look at purchasing refills in this particular brand, and this particular palette comes from our lovely favourite place overseas that doesn't get mentioned much on YouTube anymore, but everyone mentions it as the non-mentionable place. It's like Harry Potter and Voldemort. It's quite funny. And they're like $3.50 a pan to replace each individual colour, which I thought was a bit silly because it's a 24 pan set and that would cost me like $80. But the whole thing only cost me about $20, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So I grabbed one of the pattern papers Alexis gave me to work with, the greeny one, so I decided the Mermaid needed some seaweed to swim between, so just hand cut some seaweed shapes, some wiggly shapes. And decided they were too stark, and they sort of would be too stark against the blue background I intended to put in, so I just gave them a light coat of watercolour. Just bearing in mind it was scrapbook paper that I'm using, thin scrapbook paper, so I didn't want to put too much water on the paper. I didn't want it to disintegrate. So trying to do a bit of shading, I did a combination of two colours, and sorry, it's right down the bottom of the screen that you can't see. Sometimes I get so involved in what I'm doing, I forget to look where the camera is. One day I will have a fandangle set up in my new office, or I can have a large TV in front of me showing me what my filming is doing when it's filming. I've seen one YouTuber do that. Don't know how to do it, but that sounds like fun. So you can always tell you in shot. Because to tell them in shot, I have to look at probably a 2" by 1" little square on my video camera, which is about a metre, or probably not a metre, about half a metre from my desk. So it's really hard to see. So now I just decided to do a quick sketch of a tail and sort of hand cutting it to fit, and it wasn't really the right shape, so here I'm just giving her a bit of a trim and a cut to make sure she fits. So I end up cutting her tail into 2 pieces and paper piecing her together, and you can't really see where it was pieced together. And I did cut along the decorative piece to where her tail and her skin meet. So I love that paper for her tail. It looked really good. So I love this page. It's a combination of everything. It's a combination of paper piercing, paper, painting, stamping. It's a really mixed media piece. You have to forgive me. It's really cold here. It's about 10 o'clock at night. I've turned my heater off to sit here into the voiceover because it clangs and bangs and huffs and puffs. So I do apologise if the coldness is getting to me and I make no sense at all. Which is nothing unusual lately. It's been so cold here lately. For anyone that's interested, while I'm doing this, I'll Google what the temperature is, just to make you all feel sorry for me. So I'm just gluing all the pieces on and just giving that a good dry, because I want to dry the watercolour that was on top of the paper. If anyone is interested, it is currently 7.5 degrees and it feels like 6 degrees. Oh, okay. Oh, that's overnight tomorrow night. I thought that was overnight tonight. Overnight tomorrow night is supposed to be -1. Holy camole, that's going to be cold. Bendigo, we sort of get the range of temperatures. We get up to 45 Celsius in the summer, and we get down to about -5 Celsius in the winter. Gamut of so we get a gamut of temperatures. That's what I was trying to say. Sorry, I just found this little bit of a little snippet out of order. So I've just been fiddling around and hopefully it goes in seamlessly. Okay, words are not my friend at 10:30 at night. It goes together seamless. Oh my god. Toes together nicely. I'll use a preppy word that I can pronounce. So just adding some of the water? No, what am I doing? Adding washi tape. Seriously, I think the coldness has got to my brain. Might be time for a hot chocolate. So adding some of the washi tape to the bottom of the rocks and into the water down there. So I decided that I also have to use that acrylic paint that Alexis gave me, so I decided to use that for my shadowing for my mermaid. This is the bit that I'm not real happy with. I sort of stuffed it up, but that's okay. I sort of fix it. Sort of stuff it up, sort of fix it. That's alright. I'm liking painting at the moment. I'm not real good at it, but I'm liking it. I'm trying to make her sort of form her shoulder and her shadows. But yeah, I have to go back and do some more painting, I think. It's one thing I have not done a lot of in my life is just free painting. Like just painting with a paintbrush with nothing else on the page. So what am I sticking on now? Sticking on something. Oh, just sticking down the vines. So give that a good old dry and then I'll move on to the background. Temperatures. So using some of the Honey Swap Peach Colour Shine spray for her hair. I love how her hair turned out. I really don't know how I did it, and I really don't know whether I can do it again, but it looks really cool on this page. So I sprayed some of the spray on and I sort of dried it, but didn't completely dry it. I basically dried up all the big blobs, and then I thought, well, I've got to use this embossing powder. So I decided to dump the embossing. Now the cold's just getting to me. Decided to dump the embossing powder on top of the wet Heidi Shine spray, and I love how the hair come out. So I really don't. I don't know how, but I got like lines. Got like lines in the hair. You can sort of see it there, and when I melt the embossing powder, so it looks like the water's swishing through her hair. That's really cool. So I've discovered with embossing powder, you don't need an embossing stamp pad to do it. Basically, you just need a wet medium to hold the little crystals in place while the heat gun melts them. That's what I found. Because if you try to chuck it straight on paper, the little bit of air that comes out of the heat tool, it blows them away. Been there, done that. So you basically need any sort of sticky medium. Could be double-sided paper. I've done it with school glue. I've done it with a glue stick. Now I've done it with Heidi Swap Colour Shine. So basically anything that's sticky you can stick it down with. So now I decide that, what am I deciding? I'm giving my palette a good spray because I want to use several colours. That's a hint when you're using watercolours. If you want to use an abundance of colours, just grab a spray bottle and just activate them all. And then you don't have to dip your paintbrush in so much water. They've sort of got little wells of water up the top. So now I'm filling in the background. Trying to get a lot of movement in the background. because my vision was her gliding through the water. Yeah, I'm silly at this hour of the night with no heater on because I'm freezing, sitting here wrapped up in my dressing gown. If you saw me, it'd be a fright. I was actually so funny. Speaking of dressing gowns, I actually opened the door to a courier the other day in my dressing gown at midday, and he just looked at me up and down, and then it wasn't my delivery anyway. I very rarely get deliveries to my house. I always use my PO box because I'm never home. He was home, and it worked out that he had a car seat. And I didn't order a car seat, so I said, I think you got the wrong person. He ended up, he had the wrong street. My street and another street in our town, they're about a kilometre apart and they always get mucked up. One has, they're both the same name. I won't mention the name because I don't want to mention what street I live in. But they're both the same name, but they've got different, like one might be street and one might be court, for example, so they often get mucked up by couriers, by the post. We often get mail for the other place. That's why I don't use my private address for mailing. I use my PO box. Off on a tangent we go. Nothing much else to talk about when I'm just adding colour to the background. So just giving that a dry. Didn't want to add too much water, as again I'm only working on a book page with a little bit of gesso on top, so I didn't want to soak it up. Okay. What are we doing now? Oh, I'm playing with the glittery, reddy, foily border that Alexis insisted I use in her Pick 10. So I'm off camera doing something. What am I doing? Trying to put glue on it because I'm doing it over a mixed media background and there's paint and there's paper and there's glue. I wanted to add a little bit more of the glue to the very fine borders. So I wanted these to represent some more seaweed. So that's a bit off camera. Sometimes I forget where I'm filming. So I find, especially if you're sticking anything like washi tape or borders or anything over anything mixed media, you do need to add some extra adhesive, otherwise it will just peel off. So just cutting those flush with the bottom of my book. I do like how it looks. It's got a lot of character, this page. It's probably not my favourite, but probably in my top 10. Now the sequins come in. I had a vision. I had an idea in my head that the sequins would turn out a lot better, but they didn't. I got glue everywhere and it just didn't work out. I should have probably got a pair of tweezers and a smaller nozzle on my glue, but couldn't be bothered getting up and getting those, so I did what we did. So just basically scattered the sequins all over her tail. So I do like it, but I probably could have just stuck one sequin inside of the pattern paper. In hindsight, hindsight's great when you're watching. It's one great thing about doing, I suppose, YouTube videos. I sit there and watch myself make the page, and then my brain, I do have one some days, don't know where it is tonight, I think I left it out at the shops today. My brain thinks, oh, I should have done that. Oh, why did you do that? So it's actually quite funny to take yourself doing a page and then look back on it and you look at the silly things you do, or you look at how better you could have done it. So certainly the sequins could have gone on a better way, but I was being lazy that day. So these were oval egg sequins actually, and some little flowers that we had from Easter. So these goodies Alexis put together for me, I think it was just after Easter, so Easter was in no it wasn't, I just flipped my sore finger. Okay, seriously, I have 10 fingers, and what finger do I keep hitting? The sore one. Now my big head's in the way. Hello, big head, and everyone can see all my grey hairs. Sorry, I didn't realise my head got in the shot. Oh, God. So, just now taking a texter, and it's just one of the kids' texters I pinched out of Alexis's box, and just adding a bit of definition around her tail, some wiggly lines, and a bit of movement in the background. I do put some still pictures at the end, and I also do move this up a bit closer for you, but it is still 3 times, so that was very quick. So we'll flick it into some stills at the end. Thank you for bearing with me. I love that hair. That hair is just awesome. So thank you for bearing with me in this cold, cold night, and I will catch you next time on my next video. Bye for now.